enough to knock me out, but I'm still holding the throne. You'll never know till it's over. So pretty it hurts, just beware of.
Hello YouTube, Harvey Talks Prison here. Before I get into this video, I want to send the condolences, thoughts and prayers to those families in Texas. That was just terrible. And I mean, I really don't know what to say about it, you know, except thoughts and prayers. I have some questions about it too, but that's for another time. But in the meantime, let's get on with this video. I'm going to talk about Kevin Hoppe, a friend of mine, goes up for parole in September. A lot of you guys know that have signed the petition, just know a little bit brief description about him, maybe a video or two of what I've done about him. But I want to go into more on it, you know, so you guys get to know him a little bit better. Maybe tell a couple stories along the way. So I don't know how long this is going to be. But I first met Kevin at the Walls, Missouri State Penitentiary. And I was in the hobby craft room. I'd seen him around, but we hadn't really talked. And we didn't talk until he walked into the hobby craft room one day. And me and another guy was wrestling. And he made a couple jokes, you know, and we got up. And he and I just got talking and we clicked, you know. Then I get transferred to Farmington. And I went to medical one day. I guess it was a couple years later after I'd been there. Seems like that I went to medical and they put us in this waiting room and he was in there. But I didn't really recognize him at first, you know. I was just, I mean, I saw him, but I was looking at everybody because they had us in this little waiting room that was kind of crowded. There's no sitting room, it's just all standing. And he comes over to me and says, "How you doing?" And I looked at him and said, "What's up, man?" And so he was in the same housing unit as I was. And he just got there like the day before or something. So we put in a move pass and eventually he got moved in with me. And that was a fun time as far as being in prison could be. You know, we was very compatible as cellies, you know. And the only thing different was we had different views on religion, you know, and also he didn't work out a whole lot. He would go up there sometimes and work out for a little bit, but that really wasn't his thing. He said his workout was lifting a cigarette and a cup of coffee. And but we just got along great, you know. We'd wrestle and stuff in the cell, you know. I remember one time they was bringing new recruits around, showing them, and we was wrestling. I mean, we was going hard at it too, and we saw them coming. You know, we heard the door and we went and looked, and here comes a sergeant and a couple COs with a bunch of recruits, and it looked like they was heading right for our cell. So we stopped what we was doing. We was trying to act normal, and they came straight to our cell and they said, "This is what a typical cell looks like." And so we're just sitting there, and the sergeant says, "Could you guys go back to doing what you was doing before we walked up here?" So we started wrestling again. And the sergeant just looked at us. He goes, "You can't pay these guys no mind. They're, you know, they're idiots." And So that was one story. And another story I think I've told is when I got in the laundry bag and Kevin tied it. I would have never done that with anybody else, but I trusted him enough to do that, you know. I just didn't think he was going to leave me in there that long. Then there was the time when there was this guy with a really messed up case, and let's just say that Kevin kept me from getting another charge. I think I've told that story, and if it wasn't for him being there at that time, I'd probably still be in prison. And because this guy was just arrogant about it, you know. And I get upset just thinking about that, you know. Should be no reason whatsoever to harm a child. Anyway, enough of that. So we, you know, there's a lot of photos of us. Some of them I've lost. I can't find them yet. But Kevin's got a lot of them. What I was going to do is I recorded him on a phone. He's been calling lately. I was going to record him and then play the conversation, you know, kind of like have an interview with him. But I gotta find a different app that records, because this one is not doing so good. But then again, it might be because he has the mic in the wrong place or something. I don't know. Because sometimes he comes in clear and sometimes he don't. And I think it's because he's moving his mic. But I would have loved to have that, put that on a video, you know, and have you guys listen to our conversation. And I talked to him about that, as a matter of fact, and he said, yeah, it's okay, but he really didn't want it then, you know. He says, I'm not ready for it yet, you know. But he's still in the dog program. He has a dog, and the whole time he was talking to me in the cell, he was talking to this dog, and both him and his cellie are dog trainers. You can't be a dog trainer without being in a cell with another dog trainer. So they're both in there, you know, and the guy leaves because Kevin was on the phone. But Kevin was clipping the claws and stuff, and just babying the dog, you know. He said he's a little bitty dog, and said he was feeding him and everything. He was, as long as I'm eating, this dog is eating, because he said he's getting fat. And so I asked Kevin about the upcoming parole hearing, you know, and here's what he said. He said, Harvey, I'm just tired. I'm tired. I've sat all these years in prison for something I didn't do. I know you guys are trying to help me, and I appreciate it, but he said, I really do, and he said it does kind of give me hope. And he goes, the first thing I want to do, if you can do it, is thank everybody who signed the petition for me. He said, thank them. I thank them from the bottom of my heart. He goes, I'm just amazed at the people who have signed it and stuff. And he goes, I'll never forget that, no matter what happens. But he said, I'm tired. He says, I'm tired of the same thing, going up for a parole hearing and getting rejected, you know. And he goes, I might be a little bit different if I'd actually done it, you know. But he said, it's a horrible feeling to go up there and get denied, you know, and knowing that you didn't have anything to do with this to start with. And I said, but Kevin, you know, they gave you 5-year setbacks, The last one was a 2-year setback. That might be a good sign. He goes, that's not what I'm saying. He goes, I'm going to go up to this parole hearing. He goes, I'm going to state my case. I'm going to do everything I can, you know. He said, you know, I've taken programs and stuff, programs I didn't even like. And he goes, programs I don't believe in. I don't believe they're helping. But he said, I'm doing all this in an effort to get out. And he goes, all you guys who are helping me, everybody who's signed the petition has motivated me to even try harder. But he said, I know you and a couple others want to try to get me back in court and stuff, but he says, I don't want that. He goes, I'm tired of trying to do that, you know. There's always something that comes up that blocks me from doing that. Every time. He said, every time I think I have a chance of getting back in court, something happens. He goes, you know, I lost all my paperwork because I sent it home to my aunt, and then when she passed away, I don't know what happened to it. So anyway, that's where we're at, and that's the way. But he seemed to be, you know, that dog had him laughing and joking and stuff. So, you know, the dog program, and he even said this too. He said the dog program is the best program in the Missouri Department of Corrections. You know, I think you guys know that he's from St. Louis. You know, most of us that are from St. Louis, Springfield, Kansas City, little towns around Missouri, you know, like me, I'm from outside of Rolla, Phelps County. Most of us are, you know, even though what I did to protect my brother, I'm still guilty, you know. The bottom line is, I'm still guilty. No matter, you know, even though I protected my brother. So I can't imagine, I've tried, and I can't imagine sitting in prison, going through all that stuff, and knowing that you're innocent. I just can't fathom, you know. I don't think I should have done as much time as I did, but at least I was in prison for something I did do. And this guy isn't, and he's not the only one. He's the only one I know of. And, you know, he's the only one I have a close friendship with. But he's not the only one. This happens to other people too. You know, prosecutors and stuff just want to get a conviction, you know, because it's election year or something, you know. I don't know. But he's not the only one. There's even been people, like a lot of them, it seems like in Illinois, have been exonerated after years of being in prison. It's sad to me, you know. And you can almost see it as a loss of life, you know. Look, Kevin is a year older than me, and we went to prison about the same time. You know, I was 17 when I went to prison. I think he was like 18, maybe 17, and he might have got locked up a year before I did. But anyway, now imagine that. I think it's 86 when he went to prison, if I remember correctly. Well, when he was arrested. So he has been in jail and prison since 1986. You think about that for a minute. Let that sink in. And like I said, you know, if I believed that Kevin was guilty, I wouldn't even be making this video. I'm not even sure if I would have anything to do with him. Not for the fact of what he done, but for trying to lie, you know. But I sincerely believe he is innocent. I'll say that, you know, until the end. And I've never said that about anybody else that I knew in prison, you know. There's a lot of people in prison that claim they're innocent, or they try to put the blame on somebody else. It wasn't me, it was that person. Or they say, even when they admit they get that they did what they allegedly did, they always say, well, it was this person's fault I got caught, or this person, you know. How about you not have done that to start with, you know? But like I said, I was in a cell with Kevin for many years, different camps, you know, Farmington, Bowling Green, and the last one was South Central Correctional Center. I had been, you know, I got transferred from Potosi to Bowling Green. Kevin was there, and I ended up in the same house as him. We ended up being cellies, and there was a lot of people there that knew me, and so, you know, it was almost like being in another camp where I knew everybody, you know. But I got transferred, and I told the video why. I got transferred from there to South Central Correctional Center in Licking, Missouri, and I was there 6 years, I believe, and then Kevin showed up there and chewed me write-ups in Bowling Green, you know, that I think it's 2 in a year, and they're sending you out because, you know, they raised everybody's custody levels, and a lot of people got grandfathered in, and they had to avoid write-ups to keep from getting transferred. So we was in 5 house, and 5 house was and 6 house was pretty bad housing units, you know, and we ended up being cellies there, and cellmates, bunkies, whatever you want to call it, and from there we moved to 3 house to get into the dog program, and it was the honor house, and I used to call it the no hit me house. Well, I wasn't the only one, others did too, but the reason I say this is before I got moved down there, I was walking down the walk one day heading to medical, and here comes 3 house going to chow, and there's this guy, little dorky dude in front, just skinny, just walking as fast as he can. You can't run, so he's just walking as fast as he could. He goes, "Get out of the way. 3 houses coming through." What does that mean to me, you know? And he actually stops, and he tells me, he goes, "This is just a piece of advice," but he said, "When 3 houses coming through, you got to step to the side." He goes, "Because we're 3 house, we're the honor house." I said, "You lost your mind." And anyway, I go medical, and then coming back to medical, from medical, I had to go down this walk, and no, it was the next day this happened. I see him again, but this time it was right in front of the chow hall, and I purposely didn't get out of his way. You know, after the remark he made, and he runs right smack into me and just bounces off and falls on his butt, you know, and there was a guard standing there, and this guard walks over there and says, "Is there a problem?" This guy tells this correctional officer, he goes, this guy apparently does not understand that the people in the 3 house have the right of way, and that he is to move to the side until we all pass, and then he can go on about his business. This guard had a look of complete bafflement on his face. And he turns to me and he goes, I will take care of this. He said, you go on. I don't know what ever happened to him, but I'm sure the guard explained to him that that's not how things work, you know. And but anyway, we get down there to the 3 house, and you had so many people down there that was just, I mean, they literally, I had a caseworker call me back one day, and he says, Mr. Seidel, he says, there's some people that are concerned about you. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, you and your cellie, Mr. Hoppe, have come down here, and they think that you guys are going to cause trouble. I said, I ain't going to cause any trouble. He goes, I didn't think you would, you know. He said, you're the type of person that don't cause trouble, but if there is trouble, you know, you handle it. He goes, I check everybody that comes through here. You know, he goes, don't think that you just come down here and get in a cell. He goes, well, I'll look into your backgrounds and stuff. And, but he said he's just, a couple of them are just scared. He goes, he goes, well, I don't know how else to say it, the no hit me type. And so from then on, I started calling it the no hit me house. And Kevin and a few others started calling it that too. But anyway, that's all I got for you today. I hope if you guys want some stories from me and Kevin, just let me know. I'll try to tell a few of them. Some of them I've already told. But just let me know. And nice seeing you. And see you next time. Bye.